How you going everyone, and welcome back to Bullshit's Review Hub. Today we're going to have a chat about the new movie, Thunderbolts. Now, I was extremely hyped from this movie from the start. The cast, the trailers, the dark undertone that it was portraying, and the fact we were going to have an anti-hero superhero team. Other than the Suicide Squad, I thought this was actually going to be pretty cool. But after watching it, I was left with a big, is that it? But don't get me wrong everyone, it does have some really good bits. Like Red Guardian is hilarious, the fight scenes are pretty solid, but I gotta admit, the tone, the pacing, and the ultimate payoff that you get from this movie is just completely missing. Honestly, I feel that Marvel shot a lot shorter than what they probably expected they were gonna get for this movie, and I'm feeling that the fans as well, including myself, feel that this movie still left us with a lot of wondering, and it was not what we expected. So let's get stuck into Marvel's Thunderbolts, guys, and don't forget to hang around till the end and we'll have a chat about the after movie credits. There was a little bit of footage that was left after the Thunderbolts that I wonder if everyone stuck around for, and we'll have a chat about that. But first, let's get stuck into the Thunderbolts, guys. Thunderbolts opens with Yelena Felt Off on a CIA Black Ops mission in Malaysia, sent by Valentina to destroy a lab linked to the secret Ox group and their failed Sentry project.
Assignment is complete.
Val facing impeachment once all the traces of her involvement whipped, including the mercenary she hired. She secretly sends Yelena, John Walker, Ghost, and Taskmaster to a hidden Ox site to basically kill each other. In the chaos, Ghost kills Taskmaster and then accidentally releases Bob, an amnesiac man from a cryopod who was once part of the Sentry program. The team figures out that they were sent to be incinerated with the evidence and escape the trap.
Left.
When Bob makes contact with Yelena and Walker, they're hit with visions of their darkest memories, setting the stage for one of the movie's best concepts, trauma and redemption. Alright, first off the bat, you gotta give it at least a little bit of credit because the action was there. Not as much as what I would have hoped or what I would have expected, but it actually was there. The fight scenes were pretty good, especially when you get to see them in the big incinerator when they've got to go down and destroy the evidence. And before they work out they're a team, obviously, or want to work as a team, and they're fighting against each other. That battle scene there was pretty cool, as well as I got to feel that, you know, got to give credit where credit is due to David Harbour. He played Red Guardian perfectly. Every scene he was in, he pretty much stole the show.
What kind of super serum did you get?
I don't know, regular. Hydra.
Hydra? Oh, fancy.
He was by far my favourite character out of this entire movie, and one of the main reasons that I feel that I possibly kept watching, just because every now and then he ripped out some comical gold that, yeah, really made me giggle. And the other one was, it was a bit different in this one with the whole psychological angle that they were heading for with this, you know, whole Sentry, you know, thing, the powers that he really had. And it was a bit weird because, you know, I myself love the original Marvels, or the original Avengers and the Marvels really, where they're a bit more serious. It seems like further along in the Marvel MCU universe that we've progressed, that everything has become a bit more comical. And I feel it was after Thor Ragnarok that started really happening. And it's a bit weird in this one, honestly. You don't really know if it's actually an action or a comedy. Or action comedy maybe, but then they throw the psychological in there as well, which, you know, possibly leans a bit more towards depression and a person not be able to control their own psyche properly, really. And obviously one of the main facts was it was really cool to see all those sort of anti-hero characters come together to sort of form a group, even though it was really resembled Suicide Squad, and I reckon Suicide Squad actually really nailed it compared to what Thunderbolts did. But honestly, I don't really know which angle Marvel was trying to take with this one, other than it was, yeah, honestly really cool to see all the characters in it. I did have a lot of issues with the movie as well itself, but I think that might have just been because it suckered me into thinking it was going to be, you know, sort of like maybe Avengers Endgame, or, you know, one of the good old Avengers where there was a lot more battles and seriousness rather than the comical and not really knowing what to do as a team. And just quickly, everyone, just like to jump in there and say thank you to all my old subs for liking and watching my videos, and anyone that's new that's watching that's made it this far and you're liking the review so far, don't forget to like and subscribe and hang around till the end, because we've still got to chat about the after ending credits. There's a little bit of video that I wonder if everyone's seen at the end of the movie that we're going to have a chat about. But let's get back into this review. But then it all starts to wobble. Thunderbolts can't figure out what kind of movie it wants to be. Is it dark and intense, or is it a comedy? The total whiplash is real. One moment you're dealing with Bob's severe trauma and godlike instability, and next minute there's a joke about soccer team.
Yelena?
Oh my god.
You named them after your favorite soccer club?
Like I said before, everyone, it's like Thor, Love and Thunder all over again. Real stakes get undercut by constant jokes, and when you're dealing with a potential apocalyptic force like the Void, that's not just a mistake, it's a mood killer. Time for some of the bad points that I really didn't like about this movie. To me, it honestly, when I first seen the trailers and read about it, I even did a trailer review on it, I thought it was going to be a lot more than what it was, and it was actually going to be like one of the old school Marvel movies that brought the MCU back from sort of the struggles that they've been having lately. But again, shot down in a blaze of glory, and just, yeah, after coming out of this movie, just felt very, is that it? Is there any more? Like, realistically, it was very predictable. You could see the story, the way it was unfolding. Didn't mind Bob himself, the character, but once you get into it, and ultimately, yeah, Bob has incredible power, but because of his psyche and the way he was obviously raised, or the trauma that he had before, he was unable to control that power, and the dark side ended up taking him over, and that was just sort of weird as itself, because then they realistically had to go into, I'm guessing, sort of his mind to be able to sort of save the day. And yeah, I'm guessing that, you know, the psychological side that they're trying to go across just didn't really work or come across. Like, I tell you what, you really want a psychological one, go watch The Woman in the Yard. That's some psychological trauma horror that can really turn, you know, a good scary movie. Whereas the psychological that they tried in this one, it just didn't really work for a Marvel movie to me. And another one that really peeved me off was, I actually liked Taskmaster from Black Widow. I thought that she was a really hardcore and strong character. And then they sort of did, just like they did in Suicide Squad 2, with another character I really liked, with Captain Boomerang. Within the first, you know, mad fight scene that you get to see him in, Taskmaster gets taken out and doesn't really get to show you what she could do on the team or really bring to the movie, which is pretty sad to see, because I actually thought Taskmaster was really cool in Black Widow, and they realistically gave her 10 minutes of screen time, maybe only 5, and the fighting that she did was actually pretty cool to see. But then just, yeah, for Marvel to go, you know what, might not need Taskmaster, bang, was just pretty sad to see. And I would really like to see more of Taskmaster in this one. Now, I feel the actress Florence Pugh, who played Yelena, almost played her too well. Like, at the start of the film, honestly, really got the feeling like she didn't honestly wanted to be in the movie. But I don't know if that was just, you know, her really good at acting to make me feel myself that, yeah, she just didn't really feel like she wanted to be part of the team or part of the movie. And it sort of portrayed that in the first, you know, half of the movie to me. Like, might not be for everyone else, but just to me, it was just, that's the way she portrayed it. And like, honestly, the first, you know, 20 minutes of the movie was really like a struggle to get through to, should I really want to watch the rest of this, or, you know, just tuck her in there because it might actually turn out to be good, which, don't get me wrong, it does have some good scenes in it, but yeah, to me, it just was a real big miss for Marvel, especially, you know, trying to compete with the other Marvel movies that have come out. And as well as I feel like Bucky used to be such a hardcore character when he was the Winter Soldier, and throughout the MCU universe, or in the movies that he is, it seems like he's sort of gotten, wouldn't like to really say, but yeah, he sort of looks like he's gotten a little bit weaker from, you know, when we first seen him in the Winter Soldier, when he's fighting against Captain America and giving him a good bit of a what for, to you see him in this movie and some of the other MCU movies where he's just doesn't seem as strong as what he really should be. And Winter Soldier was one of my favorite characters, and then seeing him in this one, you know, coming across as Congressman Barnes, like, it just, yeah, it just didn't really seem fitting for the Winter Soldier. But that's just my take on it, everyone. Bucky Barnes is back, and yet to me it felt like he wasn't. There was no depth. Ghost, she was totally underused, and Taskmaster finally speaks and then gets killed off. It's like, honestly, the script forgot these people had arcs. The only character who really got a story was Bob. Even that seemed rushed to me. We find out he was a drug addict who volunteered for the Century program, hoping to be something more. And now he becomes a god with mental health issues. There's so much there, but it never quite lands. But as much as there were bad sides, there were good sides. Here are a couple of scenes or a couple of parts of the movie that I actually felt were really cool. One of the first ones that I thought was the first time you actually get to see when Yelena walks up on Red Guardian and he's at his apartment. And it's funny because he's actually watching videos of himself when he was back in the Soviet Union, and obviously very famous and a bit of a hero, and he misses that, and that's when she rocks up, and obviously he thinks that she's DoorDash, but she's not, and he yells out to her,
I click leave on porch.
leave it on the porch, and then yeah, Fool gets up her a little bit
Your subordinates will be reported to DoorDash HQ.
before she actually yells out, it's me, Yelena, and he runs around his apartment, and this one actually got me, and I was even like to my wife, that's a bit full on, as he grabbed some dishwashing liquid, put it on his finger and brushed his teeth, really rinsed it out and spat it out, and wow, that was pretty cool and intense to see. But I love me a bit of Red Guardian. I think David Harbour played Red Guardian to the T and perfectly. Like, I honestly don't think anyone else could have played Red Guardian any better than him. And then my next scene is again, is a David Harbour, is a Red Guardian scene, and it's after the team actually escapes from the vault that Ox was trying to kill him and lock him in. And three of them, I'm pretty sure it was, yeah, the US agent, so John Walker, as well as Ghost and Yelena, going across the desert, trying to find their way back, and out of nowhere, they see this limo that rocks up out of nowhere. Yelena sort of guesses who it is, because it's all the horns honking the whole time, which is hilarious. And then next thing you know, Red Guardian jumps out, yelling, Yelena!
It's gonna die! Don't go in the vault! It's gonna burn your life!
That scene there was quite hilarious, and it's cool to see like David Harbour play Red Guardian in this one, because it's not just him with his, you know, comedic role on the side of it, it's also the other side of it where it's a dad trying to reconnect with his daughter, and you actually get to see it in this, and I feel that David Harbour and Florence Pugh did really well in this.
There was a girl who pooped in one game. It was crazy. I was yelling at the rep.
And one of the most craziest and funniest scenes I've actually seen probably in a movie this year that really got me was at the start you get to hear a little bit of conversations between the team before they leave Bob, and Bob slipped something about once happened to be dressed in a chicken suit working out the front of somewhere, spinning a sign, but then happens to be a little bit methed up and some crazy stuff happens. And once it gets to the point where Bob's Sentry and all the powers that he had that he couldn't control end up, you know, sort of taken over and his dark side comes out, that's when the team has to go into this place called The Void. And when they go into The Void, or Yelena does first, you've got to sort of fight through all your worst fears, darkest dreams, or anything that you've done in the past that's really bad. And you've got to get through a lot of rooms, they call them. And yeah, each room is individually different to, you know, something that you've obviously done in your past that's been really bad. And once they eventually find Bob, or Yelena does first, and the next thing you know, the whole team comes crashing through because they work out that they've all got to go in the void to be able to do this one. They start going through Bob's doors. Now, yeah, Bob's got a couple of cool doors until you get to this one. They get into this one place, this one room, and they drop into it, and then next thing you know, a methed up chicken or a methed up dude in a chicken suit spinning a sign starts attacking the whole team. And that was hilarious. You had Red Guardian, you had Bucky, you had Ghost, you had Yelena, you had everyone in there getting their asses kicked by a methed up chicken.
I was on this!
Or a methed up guy in a chicken suit spinning a sign, and that was hilarious to see. Like, I thought the Red Guardian, you know, scenes were pretty funny until that one popped up, and I thought, yeah, alright, Thunderbolts has got an alright one for this one. So honestly, everyone, it's probably not the worst Marvel film, but it's most frustrating, I feel. I would probably give it a 5 out of 10. Yeah, I would probably watch it again just so I could, you know, maybe see more of the Easter eggs that I might have missed in the movie, but other than that, it was not the Thunderbolts that I was expecting or received, obviously. But again, I would always leave that up to you guys to decide, because everyone has their own opinion and is allowed to have that, that's for sure. And finally guys, we've come to it. Let's have a chat about the post-credit scene. First off, we've got Bob and the New Avengers talking about suing Sam Wilson for the trademark infringements on the Avengers. Apparently Sam wanted to have the rights to the Avengers name, and they're not really happy about it because at the end they become the New Avengers. Then the real tease comes, everyone. A distress call from deep space. Next thing you know, out of a wormhole pops a spaceship with a giant 4 marked on the side of it. Yep, Fantastic Four is coming this way. So yeah, pretty excited to see that one. Looks like Fantastic Four and the Thunderbolts might be crossing over a little bit for that one. Be interesting to see how they do that, because it actually looks like it's the new Fantastic Four that's coming into this one and not any of the old ones, which is fair enough because there is a new Fantastic Four coming out. Which, excited, but after seeing Thunderbolts, not going to hold my breath that it's going to be, you know, a kick-ass Marvel movie again. Alrighty, movie lovers, again, we've come to the end. Maybe you actually liked it, probably maybe a bit more than what I did. Maybe you didn't. If you did or didn't, who cares? Why don't you drop it down in the comments and we'll have a chat about it. As well, before we go guys, did you think that Marvel possibly fumbled the bag and some of the characters deserve a bit more props than what they got? As usual, leave it in the comments below, and I'd like to thank all my old subs for liking and watching my videos, and anyone new that's made it this far. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and go on my page and maybe check out some of my other reviews. You might just like them. And as usual everyone, I'll catch you on the next one.